What's the motherfucking deal? Welcome to Sauce Sports. If you're not familiar with Sauce Sports is Houston, Texas, home, and we're going to be talking all sports, but only Houston, and some pre-stream Pokemon conversation. But nah, man, we're glad you're here this evening. Again, if you want that other conversation in H-Town Sports, this is the channel. I know, the Texans sometimes can be here nor there, but they're definitely not here, so we keep it in Sauce Sports over there, and we don't talk about them here. We talk about everything else. So we got the man of the channel who's been holding it down. Who do we have joining us this evening? Oh shit!
Real Madrid, who everybody knows if they know me, is my favorite team of all time. I mean, I'll put that on the pedestal by all means. Won today and are officially the champions of Spain. So I'm feeling really good. Hopefully they can go ahead and handle their business for Champions League. But yeah, I'm super excited today.
They didn't hear the first part. Everything from Real Madrid past they did. I thought I clicked the thing. I didn't click it, so they did not hear about your accomplishment prior to the Real Madrid part. If you want to share that with them again.
Oh, I was saying that aside from also being the gym leader in my local gym area, I guess in my neighborhood, but Real Madrid are officially champions of Spain for the 34th time. I'm really excited, man. I've been a Real Madrid fan since I was. Honestly, it was funny enough is my dad's a Barcelona fan and I'm a Real Madrid fan, and I honestly became a Real Madrid fan out of spite. So it's kind of funny how that worked out. But man, Real Madrid has.
It's like the soccer. Soccer has some very intense rivalries. Like I know football in America has, but it's like soccer takes the shit to another. Like even when I was nowhere near a soccer fan, I don't know if you've ever heard of a movie called Hooligans. Came out a while
Green Street
back.
Hooligans.
Yeah, Green Street Hooligans. That's the one. Yeah. And I'm just like, damn. I remember watching. I'm like, I don't know shit about soccer, but I'm just like, wow, people are really, this intense.
It's
about
very
soccer.
accurate, honestly. Mm-hmm. I will say that. But I mean, my best friend, he's a Barcelona fan. When it comes to like international soccer, I think the rivalry is definitely Barcelona, Real Madrid. But yeah, that's a huge rivalry. I think people are like not talking to each other for like a whole week before the game because it's that intense, that game. That game decides championships at some point. So I mean, like it's a big rivalry, but Real Madrid ended up getting their 34th championship, so I'm really happy. Hopefully they can do their thing in the Champions League. They got Man City, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do there.
Yes, 34 is a good number around here in the city of Houston, so ain't nothing wrong with that. But let's see, we got to join us, man, and then let's get into some good conversation. A lot of stuff happening around town, and if you're here, make sure after the stream for 7:15, got a video dropping, so make sure you check that out. I think I may try to start implementing. Well, the ones that aren't as time sensitive, may start trying to do something like that. Maybe like I say, immediately after stream, drop some videos, or we'll just see how it works. But make sure y'all check it out. Hector's dropping some heat for y'all. Make sure y'all tune in. 7:15 should be the notification. So and so we'll see what happens. But I see we got Houston, Texas Talk holding down the stream. What's the motherfucking deal? Footballer 503. What's the motherfucking deal? Man Cave. What's the motherfucking deal? And Hector holding down the chat and the motherfucking stream. So, like I say, it's the Dash, right? Have had some things going on, and there are some Dash videos coming up. So make sure y'all check that. I don't want to get into anything that ruins that. But like I say, we kind of have Hector dropped a recap video on that, so I don't want to get into anything that's going to spoil anything that is coming up. But like I kind of have a question because I don't pay as much attention to soccer, especially the Dash. So being honest, I'm learning. The only thing I thought was cool is to hold it down. But like, so after the tournament, are they still going to? I can't remember if you said they were not. If they're still going to play a season, or this is going to decide everything, just the Challenge Cup.
So for the Challenge Cup, this will decide the season. Okay. Unfortunately, I think honestly they should maybe consider doing something. Because I think they've gained a lot of popularity. I think you started seeing a little bit more respect to what this league is. And, I mean, this league isn't necessarily, like, not full of stars. They have a lot of U.S. international players, a lot of international players as well that have played in the Women's World Cup. So, obviously they have very little attention given to them. But I think that they were being the fact that they got to be the first professional league to go first and kind of show how it's supposed to be done. You got to give props to them full heartedly, and I think that maybe seeing how the reaction that they got from this tournament, maybe they should look into maybe trying to figure out if they can start a season. Maybe I don't know, maybe like in September or August.
Okay. And that's kind of what I was going to kind of lead into and ask you. So, with them being that first team, kind of getting out there, with people being hungry for competition and, just sports, professional sports, period. Like, do you think that they're getting like a boost, not just only the Dash, but I mean, the NWSL as a whole? Do you feel like, people are watching? Do you think that maybe they're getting a boost? Some of these names are kind of, getting a little bit more exposure because of the lack of other professional sports? Or, what would you gauge if you were just to kind of, guess your own opinion?
I would say there's some extent. I mean, the thing is that CBS did make it somewhat limited because obviously you would have to get CBS All Access to watch the games, but I'm sure there's ways to go around it as far as Asmel has told me.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as I think the league did really well. I think they got really good coverage. They got to the point where Bleacher Report had to start showing some respect to the NWSL because when they kept posting like, oh man, July's gonna be crazy because they were talking about the NBA, they were talking about this, they were talking about that. They were talking about all these other leagues that were starting, and they kept ignoring the NWSL. And then finally, like the fact that like almost the whole NWSL's like Twitter fan base comes in and like so Bleacher Report had to start putting some respect on NWSL. So I think you're starting to get more coverage for them. I think what they were able to do with the whole Black Lives Matter and also having a specific weekend dedicated to Pride. I think they're doing good things, and I think the NWSL did a good job enough to gain new fans if they haven't.
Okay. Well, that's smart. Good marketing. There's nothing wrong with that. If you were to guess, which league do you think has more fans? If we're talking about women's league, the NWSL or the WNBA?
Oof. I would have to go with the NWSL, and the only reason why I say that is because there's a little bit more international name power. Like I said, there's some players from the Japanese national team that play in the NWSL. You have a lot of U.S. American players, and obviously they're the back-to-back reigning World Cup champions. So you have a lot of players from that team that are playing in the NWSL as well. You have also other international players that play there, but specifically you have the women's national team that do play in the NWSL. And the biggest player in women's soccer, which is Martha, who plays for Orlando, but obviously they're not in the tournament. But yeah.
So let's kind of keep it on the soccer conversation. The MLS is also kind of back in action. Recently had some competition. Could you kind of give us your thoughts on that?
Oh, the MLS is back tournament. That's literally the name of the tournament. I mean, so this is a little bit different from the NWSL, obviously, because the group matches, they will be going towards you in the regular season standing. So the MLS do plan on bringing back the season. Mm-hmm. So there is that. That's a little bit different, but so far I think it has a little bit more exposure because obviously you're seeing it on ESPN and FS1. So obviously they have a little bit more exposure for people to watch them. Have like essentially a larger broadcast than the NWSL. But so far I have really no complaints. I mean, aside from the fact that Nashville and FC Dallas ended up opting out of the tournament due to some of the players having COVID-19. But I mean, it actually worked out because it was weird because they had one group that had six teams and the other five groups only had 4 teams. So with FC Dallas bowing out, it actually was able to even out to have 4 teams on all of the groups. So it actually kind of worked out in the benefit for the that those teams did bow out. But I think so far it's looked pretty good. You had some really good games. The Dynamo and LAFC game was actually really good. It was a high scoring game. So I mean, some of the games have actually been bringing some good quality. So I think MLS has done a really good job so far.
Okay. And so, how long is the MLS's back tournament going to last? Until when are they going to get the season going?
Um, I don't know off the top of my head, but I know it's at least going to be a month long.
Okay. I didn't know if it was gonna be like a quick thing or, you know, how it went. So Adrian Polito, what's the motherfucking deal? Says, what do you think of the Dynamo's performance against LAFC? Hey, was that result good or bad in your opinion?
So I'm going to go off of my perspective, which is the fact that I had very little expectations coming from the Dynamo just because of the fact that they really haven't done anything as far as adding some depth, and there were still some like big missing pieces for me on the team, specifically the midfield and the left wing position. But honestly, they did really good. They had a 3-1 lead. They were looking good, but then they just kind of just started focusing more on defending when they should have just kept pressing. And honestly, the second half was really disappointing. First half was great, but the second half was definitely disappointing. But I think if anything to take from it, you really know that you got something special in Memo Rodriguez.
Houston Texans is saying you're jinxing folks out there. Well, I don't know if that is the case or not.
I said it. Like, I mean, I remember mentioning, maybe something should have happened. All right, so Christian Ramirez did not play, but it obviously is because he left the bubble because the birth of his child.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you guys can't really like hate on the man for walking out like that.
Hey man, fuck them kids. Game comes first. You got to love the game comes first, man. Kids can wait.
Honestly, man, but like they did do really well against LAFC, who's a really good team, a really strong team. So I mean, you could take credit for that. I mean, it was only a matter of time that team was going to do that they were going to do what they did, and they did it without Carlos Vela. So that's actually a huge thing to mention.
Okay. And that's crazy that soccer seemed to kind of jump to the forefront. Do you think it was because I know internationally it seemed like they were getting some things going or they were finding ways to start playing again. Do you think that kind of motivated the American League to kind of or leagues to get their shit together and kind of start getting it going, and now they're kind of leading the forefront of all the professional leagues in America? Do you think that had anything to do with it?
I mean, obviously, the Bundesliga was showing that, like, hey, there's a way to do this and be safe at the same time. So I did like that. I think the fact that internationally you're seeing that the other soccer leagues are starting up again. Specifically, I would point out Italy. The fact that the Italian league started again, I mean, should indicate something to them. So I think that they figured out that there's a way that could be done safely and properly. And obviously to get the players' associations and the owners to agree on the terms and on a way to format the league ended up working well for them.
Okay. Well, that's cool. That's a terrible thing to tell your wife, Houston Texans talk. And footballer says, Hector, do you think Saran could have subbed in late in the game like in the 70s to seal the midfield?
Man, you're gonna really do this to my fellow countrymen. Oh man. All right. I like Darwinson. I don't. This is not me trying to diss the guy. He's technically one of the better players in El Salvador, but I have problems with Darwinson and with the Dynamo. I really do. I mean, it was great that he took that outside the box shot. It looked like it. I mean, he went for it. I think there was better options, but he went for it. I mean, I gotta give props for him for doing that. I don't think the problem wasn't so much of who they brought in and at what time did they do it. It's just the fact that they decided to go ahead and be defensive when they still had plenty of game to go. At that time, it just kind of the same thing how we talk about with the Texans. You have them down. You have their foot on their throats. It's time to keep pushing and just make sure it's over. Don't give them any chance. A 2-goal lead may sound like a lot to a lot of people, but it really isn't. And especially when we're talking about how the Dynamo do end up giving up goals in the final minutes. So honestly, I think it would have been best if they would have just kept pushing and maybe go more full attack.
Okay. We're gonna flip it over real quick. We're gonna talk about, I guess, maybe I would want to say the most beloved team in the city, but and for some reason, everybody's still gonna like the pigskin. But maybe the next most beloved team in the city, the Astros. And So they haven't started playing actual games, but they've been getting some action in. How how's that been looking? Is anybody kind of standing like what again? Like I said, with me not being very adept into the baseball thing, when these guys when they scrimmage or they do these things, like what are you looking for? How do they kind of handle the players? Is it similar? I guess it's a different game. Is it similar to how they handle players maybe in the preseason? Like the guys only getting out there for a short period of time, kind of one. Like how do they handle that in the MLB for someone who may not be familiar? With that whole situation.
Honestly, like what they're doing is maybe a little bit outside the norm as well. But I mean, the only thing you're really looking for is just them getting ready for just making sure that these guys are active and can get in game shape specifically. But I mean, they've been hitting the ball well. Springer's been going yard as well, just like many of the other guys. Correa's got some pretty good bats as well. Pitching looks pretty solid. So I mean, all in all, it's just getting these guys back in game condition, and I think that so far they look pretty good.
Is there anybody in particular that we should be looking for? I know Verlander's recovered from injury and everything, but is there anybody specifically that you're paying more attention to? Looking during the scrimmaging during spring, and then actually looking at getting back into the swing of things, like that you're concerned about or that you're expecting big things from, or I don't know, there are some names that may not be here in the future. What are your thoughts? Like, who should we pay attention to? Shout out to Robo.
You know what? I'll honestly, there is some concern with Jordan, the fact that he's now on the IL, but I think the player to focus on is Lance McCullers. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure for him this season, and it's just because obviously he was not playing last year, and it's hopefully it's not in his head, but the fact that he's essentially what we're using as the replacement for Garrett Cole. If you really want to think deeply in some extent, I'm not trying to do that, but it's out there, and it's the fact that we didn't bring somebody to replace Garrett Cole, and I don't think there's anybody that you can replace for Garrett Cole. But I do think that, with the fact that Lance McCullers is coming in, that's kind of like that safety blanket that we knew, hey, we still have this guy. He's a solid pitcher as well. So it's going to be just how mentally prepared is Lance McCullers Jr. going to be. There's also Forrest Whitley. I mean, I like Forrest Whitley. I don't want to put too much pressure on the kid. I think if people are going to really have, like, ridiculous pressure on him, I think he's going to, next thing you know, he's not going to live up to the expectations. So I don't think that that's going to be something to put pressure on. I think the pressure is mainly on Lance McCullers Jr. And then obviously the talk of the town is the fact that this could be George Springer's last season with the Astros. And this is a year that he's going to have to prove a lot, because the fact is he's on the wrong side of 30, unfortunately. And the problem is that even though he's a really solid player, solid outfielder, has a decent bat, well, not decent bat, a solid bat, and all those things, is just that he's not going to get a long-term deal. He's probably not going to be able to demand much. So this is this year that he can really make a statement to prove that he is worth that.
Okay. I'm pretty sure there will be some sad folks after that. He says he's gonna leave and then not stutter while he doesn't. Well, I mean, what is that like? Why is the Texas not a destination?
Come on, man! Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that to my boy Springer.
He has an issue.
He has a speech impediment. He actually has a legitimate speech impediment that he actually has worked on. He's actually been really good. For George Springer, his speech impediment gets really bad when he gets more anxious or nervous. But he's been, he's a very calm and relaxed guy now, so he doesn't really hesitate about things as much. So his speech impediment isn't as bad as it used to be. But yeah, no, he had a really bad speech impediment.
That's crazy. So why does Heidi believe everybody just leave? Why are the Astros no longer a destination spot? Did everybody just come here, get what they wanted? Are they going to just jump ship, or is the culture change, or what?
So the issue is that the guys that the Astros got have been through the draft or through trades, so it was never necessarily that we brought these guys in. I mean, if you want to say we brought people in, we brought in Justin Verlander, we brought in Brian McCann and Josh Reddick. Those were like the big moves for 2017, I guess, if you want to go there. But it's just the issue is the fact that you have these young core players that eventually are going to have to get paid. You already locked down Altuve, you already locked down Bregman, uh, you locked down McCullers, and so it's kind of now you kind of have to pick and choose who you want to keep. Springer's definitely going to be that person you're going to have a really deep discussion about whether or not to bring him back or not, especially with some of the younger outfielders that are being brought in, like Kyle Tucker. But I mean, center field that's a big hole to fill as well. But then there's also Carlos Correa. Is he going to have a big year himself as well to solidify him to stay in the team as well? So I mean, they're in a situation where they have a lot of great young talent, but eventually these guys are going to get paid, and it's not like the Astros can pay them all, even with the fact that MLB does not have a salary cap, but each team does have a specific budget, and if they go over that budget, then obviously they're going to have to pay a luxury tax, which is right now what the Astros are currently in that flirting with that number right now.
Nope. Well, that is no bueno, so I guess, you enjoy it while it lasts. And going to go from there. But I mean, the thing is, though, I mean, you got to commend them for being able to acquire talent and, ride it all the way to the top, be, competitive for several years. So you just wish that some of the other teams in town would be there. It's almost like the opposite of the Rockets. The Rockets don't use draft picks. And, they've remained relevant. I wouldn't say they've necessarily been competitive. You had a year or two where they were competitive, but I mean, you were just dealing with the Warriors. But it's like they take the opposite approach, and the Texans, well, we don't want to talk about them. So there's that. So is there any other concern? I mean, is there any other news like going on in the MLB? Anything else that is like that fans should be aware of that would have an impact on the Astros, moving forward?
I mean, aside from players opting out, I mean, obviously, as far as Astros players specifically, Joe Smith, one of our top relief pitchers, is actually opting out for the season. I mean, you can't really give them much crap about it, but I mean, it's a choice they have to make. I mean, Buster Posey made that same decision, just like many other players that have opted out of the season just because of they have like their own sense of security or just wanting to not necessarily take the risk.
Do you think anybody is actually just opting out because just like, fuck it, I'm gonna take some time off, not have to deal with the nonsense?
I mean, that could be a thought. Maybe there's those people that maybe think that, hey, all it takes is just one person, and next thing you know, everybody's got COVID, and you don't want to take that risk, and next thing you know, they cancel the season yet again. So I think that's also the big question mark, and especially with the MLB, the fact that that's the league, the only one that doesn't have a specific hub city. Mm-hmm. So they're still going to be playing in their own stadiums, whereas where you have the NBA and MLS and NWSL having hub cities, that's where they're playing, and you can even throw the NHL as well, that also are doing the exact same thing.
Okay. Yeah, and I can understand. Like I say, everybody has their own beliefs about, whatever. So whether you do or don't. But
Beast Mode, I don't necessarily think they can re-sign Lou now just because of the fact that James Click signed a long-term deal.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate. I mean, hey, why not though? Why not just say fuck it? It is what it is. Yeah, what happened with that thing? We talked about that kind of one of the last couple of streams. The whatever panned out the Yankees thing, the letter or whatever. Nothing. I mean, still never got open. No nothing. I mean, just disappeared. Like, is that what happened? I mean,
I don't know what they did, but they've done some fugazi stuff and just gone ahead and I mean. Astros Twitter is going off on, just like how we have people trolling the Astros. I mean, I think Beast Mode is just reaching at this point. He really wants Lou now. I'm telling you, it's not going to happen, man. Especially with the fact that how much he knew about what happened. So, and I mean, you could throw the same thing for AJ Hinch. I don't know if AJ Hinch can get a job back as well.
But it's like, but with that going on and the way that the MLB is handling it, it almost like they got made out to be the scapegoats. I mean, and apparently some worse things were going on around the league.
I mean, MLB has clearly not done a good job at all. I mean, if you really want to throw it out the top, it's Ron Manfred. I mean, he had the opportunity to really get this thing to end this, and all he did was just hope that maybe if he punished this one team, then everybody will be okay with it. When in reality, they should have probably gone deeper in the investigation, found any team that was involved with any type of cheating. And I mean, it might have involved throwing everybody under the bus, but at least you would finally know, hey, this is what all that's going on, and just go ahead and punish the teams and anything that was involved with it. People still can't get over the fact that that the Astros players didn't get punished, even though MLB had to promise them, that they wouldn't get punished if they were to speak freely. So I mean, like, obviously they had to find a scapegoat, and the two scapegoats just happened to be Lunau and AJ Hinch. Lunau, who specifically seemed like he did know what was going on, just didn't want to say that he did, and AJ Hinch for the fact that he didn't do anything to stop it really, besides breaking a few TVs.
Yeah, well, I mean that's effort. I mean, yes, TVs are expensive. I mean, not expensive as they used to be, I guess. I don't know. Okay, but yeah, I just, it's one of those things that I want to file in the category of Houston getting hosed when it comes to,
No, I mean, for sure, go ahead and throw it like that. I mean, I'm with you on it. I think at this point, like I said, embrace the villain.
Yeah.
I don't care at this point.
I think that's what we got to do across all sports. And speaking of villains, a guy who gets treated as bad, it must be the facial hair. Like, I don't understand why. But James, a couple of days ago, reported to the Bubble. I know there was talk of him, having a little cough. I know there was talk of Westbrook, being delayed. I don't know. I haven't checked any updates on that. But I find it very interesting the way that whole NBA thing is being handled, because you still got about 2 weeks before everything goes down. And I know they say, usually that's about the amount of time for people to see some kind of response to it or whatever. I don't even know what the fuck it means. You're hearing all kinds of shit.
That is suspect as fuck right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna just. I didn't see that comment.
Okay. Well, I mean, football. I'm not here to judge or anything like that, but okay. Cool.
Is it still? No, it's July now. No more time for that. Pride Month is over. But my thing is just like, I'm actually kind of glad that
he's just a great player. I'm still not gonna put hard eyes on somebody because he's a great player.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. I mean, maybe like a great female player, you can do that. It's some XFL. What are they now? They've changed from not XFL, LFL to, I think they went to Extreme something. They change the name like every fucking 2 years, so it's hard to keep up with the shit. But
is that still going?
Yeah, it's still. That's great football right there. I mean, I don't know if it's going right now. Like, I don't know, their Corona plans, but
I just remember there was this one clip of this lady like chugging a beer. Like, I forgot what she did, but she ended up like chugging a beer. That's the only thing I really remember distinctly. But
and Heidi, this channel does not have super chat ability. 1, and then 2. Even if this was on the regular Sauce channel, if we were talking about anything other than the Texans, it would probably be about the same. But this used to be the same vibe with Rocket Stream and none of that. So the reason why it's separated is because what happens is if one video does lower numbers, then they won't send out as many notifications. So in order for people who want to have a different conversation to get the content that they want, your Sauce Sports TV, and then your Sauce Sports. I tell them every day.
We tell people. We do tell people.
And remind them, hey, I'm specifically saying the other channel. Make sure, and I point to the links and everything. But it is what it is. Look, lingerie football. Aside from the lingerie, yeah. Yes, look, I have IG dysfunction. Okay, I'm not afraid to admit it. I am terrible with the gram. The gram is not my forte in social media. Like, I like Twitter, but I don't even like being on Twitter because I'm gonna start arguing with people. So I just like to find interesting things to read on Twitter.
Hopefully today we have like our own studio. Maybe we can hire a social media person.
Yeah, we're gonna hire a Heidi since she got it all figured out. There's no super chats on it. You have to use Streamlabs if you would like to make some racist comments, as you tend to do. But yeah, get into the Rockets, right? And again, the hate for the beard and everything, and Russ, and a very interesting fact. I think they said if they average 15 points a game for the rest of the year, they'll be the highest scoring NBA duo ever. Like I think, or I can't remember if it's since Kobe and Shaq did it, or Kobe and Shaq might be the current leading one, and then they'll topple Kobe and Shaq, which is interesting.
Man, that's crazy. So you're telling me two guards are catching up to a center and guard duo?
Yeah, and that's the wild thing about it is like, again, one of those situations where everybody came and it's like, it can't work, it's going to be terrible. And I said it myself. I definitely did. As we all know, I'm not a Westbrook fan. Until he does something in a Rockets uniform that's worthwhile, then I'll say, okay, unlike footballer, I have no hard eyes for Russell. But, I can't deny his talent. I can't deny the fact that I do like his aggressiveness. I do like what he brings. He is a dog, and I will not deny that. I like the fact that he brings that, to the team. We got the Rock. It's a shame that our basketball team has more dogs on it than our football team. That's a problem. What do you got? 12 people on a professional team? Would you travel with like 9, 10, something like that? I don't know.
Yeah.
12.
I mean, 5 starters, maybe like 7 guys that you really rotate.
Mm-hmm. And then you got some guys who like don't dress out; they're just hanging out.
Like 3 reserve guys.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, and so my thing is just like, how do you have only 12 guys? You got fucking 12 men on the field, which is a fucking penalty in football. But you got 20 something motherfuckers, on the field at any given time.
Technically. I mean, in the roster you have like 53 people.
Yeah, and that's the worst part. But we got fucking more dogs on our goddamn basketball team than our fucking football team. It fucking makes me sad. Makes me highly upset. But yeah, the things that are going on. They were saying though, that one, they were talking about PJ Tucker's collection. I think he brought 91 pairs of shoes to the bubble, like. And I think to the average person, that's outrageous, right? That's ridiculous. But if
PJ Tucker is just a crazy sneakerhead, man. Yeah. I've seen him at the sneaker convention. I'm not a sneaker guy at all. I mean, I will tell you full honesty that I am not a sneakerhead. Do I have some shoes? Yeah, but it's used. I honestly I try to get different colored shoes just so I have something to work with a little bit better. But no, yeah, I mean PJ Tucker. I mean, he's not necessarily the craziest shoe guy I ever met, because I don't know if you know any shoe guys, Honcho, but those guys are pretty crazy.
Yeah. It's a weird thing. I can't get into shoes like that. I mean, they're cool if I see them, but I don't ever know about all the latest. I just found out about this Jordan Dior thing that just happened. Apparently, I didn't know Dior was still a brand or anything. So it's I'm definitely don't know shit about the shoes.
I'm just finding this out right now.
Yeah, so it's fucking yeah. So I mean, like I said, I don't know. But again, but like you said, he's a crazy shoe head, and you would think that's outrageous. But to even think, you got another fucking 2 weeks there. That's a long time, and then you still got more basketball to play. So it's that's not really that outrageous for a guy like that. For maybe your average person, you or I, especially not being sneaker, it would be crazy. I need 3 pairs of shoes, maybe. I think I'd be good.
I didn't even know how he rotates them all.
So don't tell him. Then they were talking about Austin Rivers. He was on the thing. He was talking about, how much space Russell and James got for their shoes compared to everybody. Everybody else got crammed into a little bitty space, and then James and Russell, they fucking got big whole rows for each of them to fucking put their shoes. But I mean, you know how it goes. They
have those high school locker rooms.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Oh, that is a thing, man. You said dogs on their football team get kicked off the team or get arrested. We're talking about Kenny Stills. But it's a crazy thing, right? The Washington deep state. It's a crazy thing. Yeah, the name thing that was going on. I hadn't heard it. I hadn't followed up on that. I think it's stupid. Keep the fucking rest. Piss everybody off. Everybody who has the opportunity to embrace playing the bad guy needs to play the bad guy.
I mean, if that's the case, every team that has towards something involving Native Americans. Okay, so there's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
There's the Cleveland Indians, which That's very upfront.
Yeah.
The Atlanta college football, because there's also the Florida State Seminoles. I mean, you can really just go anywhere, and like, how come there's no outrage to go ahead and change those names?
Yeah. I mean, they're eventually gonna have to follow up. It's like, it's getting to the point where you're seeing people they're just, nobody even recognize them. Like, we're just gonna go ahead and change our name before somebody says something. Let's just do like, who the fuck were you? You were the thing. And then who was it? Like, you got these bands, Dixie Chicks and shit. Motherfuckers actually like dropping. All this shit is just still, it's so baffling to me. Like, what the fuck is going on? The Chicks. That's a terrible name. But the fucking, like, they need to just go all the way away from. I know they want to keep the same color scheme. I know a lot of people are talking about the red tails, like, I guess in honor of the black pilots, but I think it's kind of fucking stupid.
I mean, they're not, but they're not in Tuskegee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of fucking stupid, and I get it, but why? Because then what's going to happen? I like the
name Red Tails, but do you know exactly who the Red Tails are?
But this is what happens, though. What happens, and I know you got Haskins and stuff there right now, but what happens, like, when you have your team is the Red Tails?
I think Haskins actually said that he doesn't mind the Redskins.
Oh, but I'm saying, but what happens in the future if you do change the name the Red Tails, right? And you have a white quarterback? People are going to get upset. Like, people are going to find, like, you got to think about it. This is cancel culture, right? People are going to find a way to get mad about it. It's the Red Tails. They're named after fucking black airmen, and they got a white quarterback. That's why they're losing. That's why they can't get anything. Like, people are going to find a reason to get mad about it every fucking. The Texans, wow. The Rangers, really? What the fuck? And that's what I'm saying. Like, 2021 is going to be a whole. This is the cleansing. Okay, like we're like the world's getting washed right now.
What the Texas Rangers going to change their name to? The Texas Propane to match their grill, their grill of a stadium.
Yeah, my goodness. Texas is a terrible name. So who was it? Who was it said that the Browns? It was somebody. A commentator just recently said that the Browns and the Texans are like the two worst generic names in fucking football. But it's super funny because I've been saying that for a long time. I've said that the fucking Texas is a fucking stupid fucking name. Like, let's just be real about it. Like, and I'm saying this from like a marketing standpoint. Like, if I'm trying to push a team, yeah, my team is based here, but I want my team to fucking sell jerseys everywhere. Like, I want everybody to fuck with my team. You know, they got to just be here in the city. I'm going to give it a name where it can kind of be embraced. Not just the fucking Texans where Dallas has already permeated every fucking crevice and corner of the fucking state. Like,
you could have named it an animal, you know, like, yeah. I mean, there's Texas animals, like, yeah, the bulls or toros or whatever that.
Yeah, something like, because I remember like Apollos or something was one of the names and some other shit. But it's just like, the Texans is so generic. It's like, if I'm
man, the Houston Armadillos would be an amazing name.
Armadillos, you're just gonna roll up.
You could like have control of the ball.
That would have been perfect for the start of the season for David Carr. When the team first got brought into the league, the Armadillos would have been a perfect name. And there he goes again, rolling up into a little ball, rock and roll Armadillos. But here's the thing, right?
You would take your head out of the gutter. Maybe people wouldn't think like that.
Yeah, I would never ever.
Nasty
think that.
Person.
That's disgusting.
Nasty.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Who raised you? But yeah, so I mean, that's the thing. I think it's too late now to fucking change it. You're stuck. But like the fucking Texans, it's a terrible. If I'm anywhere else outside of Texas, I wouldn't fucking get caught dead in a fucking Texas. Like, why? It wouldn't make sense to me if I'm fucking from Oregon. Hey, well, who do you like? Well, I like that team in Houston, but fucking Texans.
We are chanting out, "We are Texans," even though.
Yeah, some motherfucker in goddamn Nevada,
Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah, fucking sitting down there. Yeah, we are Texans. Rock and roll, Texans. And they exist because Deshaun Watson players bring it. Like I get it. Like there are because the Saucy. But it's just like, to me, it would just seem weird. Like, I've never even been to fucking Texas. Why am I rooting for the fucking Texans? Like, it's dumb as shit. You know what I'm saying? It's really fucking stupid. But it is what it is. You got to embrace it. It's the team name, so got to rock with it. But they could have done. They could have done so much better. It's the worst name in the city, hands down. Yeah, because it's like they didn't take and make any effort into really thinking about it. Like, you had all them other options, but you can't blame anybody but the fans, honestly, because they took a vote.
They voted for that.
Yeah, so honestly, I can't even be mad at it. Like, it's the fans' fault, and this is why I've been ranting at the fans lately. Like, and again, it's No one specific. It's just things I see all over the place. It's not really in the sauce. It's just, I'll be other places and I'm just like, wow, there's a lot of stupid shit going on. But it's like, we got a lot of soft ass fans in this city. And it's just like, God damn, is this like, did the teams make it this way?
There actually is a team called the Canadians.
Oh.
The Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, the Houston Americans. Yeah, see, they could have came. If they would have went with the Houston Americans, they could have came out the gate as America's team, right? You know what I'm saying? We're some goddamn Americans. We're, oh my God, what the fuck? We're America's team. No, that's terrible. No, yeah, I mean that makes sense. The Washington Senators. Senators is a terrible name too. It became the Texas Rangers. So yeah, that's just been a generic ass franchise. We're just gonna get the most fucking boring name we can fucking get. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like nobody else does that. Who else fucking does that? Like who has a name after their fucking state? I don't know. It's just, I mean, and fucking Canada doesn't count. It's fucking another country. It's like you got a border and shit.
You're legitimately a Canadian if you're from Canada. Like there's no way to like say like, oh yeah, no, I may like this team from Canada, but nah, this is weird.
Yeah, it's like, all right, Kleindienst. Throw another shrimp
thank
on
God, how he's moving.
Yeah, throw another shrimp on the bobby. Whatever you Europeans say. But no, man, like I say, it's crazy. And again, like I said, I hate the name, but I love the team. It is what it is. But I think like if you're looking from a business standpoint, it's terrible. Like any other team, you can fuck with the Astros. Other teams may not like it depending on where you're from, but you can fuck with the Astros. You can fuck with the Rockets. Like there are Rockets fans. It's a weird place. To me, it's not bad. Basketball's different a little bit though, but like.
I mean, there's a lot of people from Louisiana that love the Astros.
Yeah. And so that's the thing. Louisiana doesn't have a baseball team?
I mean, they have a minor league team called the Baby Cakes, but no. Aside from a major league team, no.
That's also a bad name.
Well, I mean, for minor league teams, it's okay to have a ridiculous name. So I mean.
Okay. But that's what I mean. So that's the thing is like, that's actually pretty cool. You just, I don't, again, to me, it would make me second guess. Like, they could be a team I really like, but I'd be a fan of another team just because of the name. I'd be like, I don't know, man. It's like, yeah, like I said, need an animal. Get a fucking, not a bobcat. That's terrible. That's got Charlotte.
Cougar?
No, we never got the Cougars. And then the fucking cougar lost his toe. And, yeah, we got
Pumas?
The Pumas.
The Houston Pumas?
What do we got? I mean, we should have came with something with the space thing. I think we were still Space City back then before they stole the fucking shuttle. But it's like, it's something that, I think they should have went with a space theme if they were to name it something.
I don't know if we can do Colt 45. I really don't think we can do that right now.
Yeah, we can't do anything. Because what, Washington had the bullets. They got rid of that quick.
You're gonna have a bunch of Karens rolling up on Houston.
Well, we don't like that. Look, we be Houston fucking Highway 45, and you don't expect nothing out that motherfucker. You expect them to take a long time to get going to be all right. But no, it's like I say, it's a crazy thing. We don't supposed to talk about Texas, but I guess we shit on them a little bit. But I'm really looking at the Rockets, getting back to that I really do have big expectations because I think with these guys kind of getting sick now, I think there are going to be other guys who end up, saying, I'm either changing their mind or opting out. But what can happen, once everybody's healthy, once Russell's good to go, and they're over it. Again, like I say, they don't have that in their mind. They're not worried about all they care about now is basketball. And these guys have been working out super tough the last few months. Again, like you see, it's hit James in the shape that you've never seen him in. That's why I'm extremely interested to see how it impacts his playing style.
I feel like James Harden did the Creed workout. Like, he was watching Creed 2, and he was just like, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. The Houston Undertakers, that's crazy. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm most kind of excited to see is like, how is this going to impact his game? Because even when James was chunky, we'll call him Chunky James, Chunky Harden, Chunky Soup.
Strip club Harden?
Yeah, he was strip club trapping. Like, it was still kind of a little noticeable. I mean, he was strong, he still was crafty, relying heavily on basketball IQ and then occasionally, explosiveness. Like he'll surprise you. But I'm wondering now, with him being lighter, Is there a speed improvement with a rumored 20 pounds lost? I mean, you got to gain a little bit of speed, and so now if the handles are, excuse me, that much quicker or a bit more deadly, and again, like I said, he has a little bit more explosiveness with the weight loss. It could be a real problem. It could if that's an increase in his skill set, something else that's added to his arsenal. He's already hard to stop. Like, I think it could be problematic. And again, going into a situation where guys are kind of 50-50, you got to figure out what's going on. They can take advantage. So I have great expectations for the Rockets, no matter what, whether guys are in or out. Like, I think they can compete. I think a lot of people are sleeping on them. It's just going to be interesting to see how it gets handled and how long Russell's going to be out of the picture, because you've seen athletes have varying timelines for recovery. So, and then you kind of wonder, because of some of these scandals that have popped up, and I believe some of them were in Florida, which is going to be very interesting, with some of these clinics putting out fake numbers, I believe. Like I said, I haven't dove all the way into it before. I believe what I saw was that one clinic said it was like a 98% positive rating, but it turned out to only be like 9.8. And then somewhere else they said it was like 70 something, I think, and it was like 7 or whatever. But so not knowing whether it's going to impact or not. Again, that could be false. I have to look more into it. I'm just saying. But I wonder if this is going to change perspective on a lot of things and how people respond, and even with these athletes, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But again, if James is explosive and you got a Russell who's good to go, that's going to be a very deadly duo to try to stop it. I think it's going to be real tough for teams to be able to slow either one of those guys down.
No, I agree. I mean, for sure. The fact that, like, when you look back, when we talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder, the team that went to the NBA Finals the first time against the Heat, that was a really good team. And I mean, this was like James and Russ in their early parts of their life, and that snake, but who cares about him?
Yeah.
And now you're talking about a very experienced and knowledge duo in James and Russ. And I mean, these guys have playoff experience. They may not have a lot of championship experience, but they do have the playoff experience. They know what it takes to come from behind, or any those things that you need as a leader, for sure. And I think that the thing that makes it a lot different this time around for James is that he does have a definite leader with him in Russell Westbrook. And I mean, I think somebody that he's ready to go to battle with. And I think this is definitely the right duo. But I mean, you also got to throw in who's around these guys. You're talking about PJ Tucker. That corner shot is his.
Correct.
You got Eric Gordon. As long as he can stay healthy, I think he's gonna be a very vital role. Covington, I think, honestly, is one of the most underrated transactions that I don't think many people talk about as much. And then you still have McLemore, who I think has recovered from whatever happened to him. 'Cause, he disappeared for a long time, and now he's back. And I mean, he looks great. I think they have a really good group of players with them, not only in their starting five, but also coming off their bench. And especially when you're talking about the playoffs, it's very important to have a solid bench. And I think that they do have a good bench to help support this starting five. But the arguments that you make for teams that are getting healthy and all of that, you can make that same argument for the other contenders as well. Specifically, now, you know how I feel about my Lakers, and I really hope the Lakers do their thing as well, obviously. But if not, I will be okay with the Rockets because I want a ring. I want my own damn ring as well. But the team that's honestly, to me, is going to be the one that's really going to scare me is the fact that it's the Clippers. And I hate saying that because I hate the Clippers, because they're the unwanted stepchild that just happened to move in the Staples Center. But the Clippers are a very dangerous team, and they do have a very good bench. Their bench, honestly, could be a starting lineup somewhere else. So, I mean, the Clippers is honestly, who can clip the Clippers is basically going to be a big talking point going into this tournament. But, I mean, anything can happen. It's now an even playing field if you want to look at it like that, because everybody's healthy. Everybody's getting in shape, hopefully. I mean, you don't know what everybody else was doing, but you know for sure that the Rockets players for sure did their part to be ready for whenever it was going to happen.
Right, right. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I mean, you mentioned Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon is definitely a forgotten guy. You know, health has been a little bit of a factor, but again, when he can get on, when Eric Gordon is on, it's almost like having a third superstar because he can be that guy from time to time. And I mean, he can give you a good all-around offensive game when he's on, but sometimes he's been kind of, here and there. But the thing that I think I've been most excited about that the Rocks have done in this time was bringing back Luke Bamute because, again, when they kind of made a run a couple of years back, I was hoping he would be an integral piece. He was good during the regular season, and then after that injury, he was just never quite the same. So I'm hoping that he can be the guy he was in the regular season a couple of years ago for the team, but except in the playoffs this time. So, hopefully he can stay healthy. We don't have any issues. But I think he just came back a little bit too early last time, and it kind of showed. So he was not a factor. So San Francisco Giants are really late. We're going to start winding down a bit. Was there anything you wanted to maybe speak on that we didn't get to touch on or discuss as we get ready to wrap up?
I mean, shout out to everybody that got on the stream. I mean, I know that this channel is still kind of growing compared to the Sauce Sports, but obviously time is valuable, and for y'all to give us time is very good. Aside from that, man, I want to go ahead and send out my condolences to the Longoria family. If you guys don't know, George Longoria, security officer for majority of the Houston sports, but also the concert scene. So he's done a lot with security for the Dynamo, security for the Rockets, security for the Astros, and other concerts. So he's well known from the athletes as well as radio personalities as well. He actually recently passed away due to COVID. So I just want to send my condolences to his family. It was a big loss. He was a really great guy. So I mean, I had the honor to actually get greeted by him. He was honestly just a very nice person. Someone that you kind of wish that didn't happen to him. It was one of those things, unfortunate, But this is kind of when you see something that kind of closely affects you, it kind of really makes you reconsider things that you've said about all that's going on, and that this is a legitimate thing, and so I mean, so rest in peace to George Longoria.
Okay, definitely. I was not familiar, but hey, it sounded like he was a very well-known man, a very good man, and so definitely condolences to his family. Yeah, it's a crazy thing, and I think that when those kind of situations do happen, and it does hit a little bit close to home, you do look at it a little differently. So that's why I say I don't blame anybody for how they feel about it. If it don't impact you, you're not going to see it. If it does, you're definitely going to understand it. And you can't just get everybody up to jump on board with anything. So you got to handle it the best you can, but make sure y'all are out there taking care of yourselves. No matter what. Because we definitely want y'all. We need all the fresh ingredients back in the sauce. So don't go out there doing crazy stuff.
Also, just one quick shout out to the Dynamo fans for change. I know that I didn't expect them to be watching our videos, but they ended up finding out about me, and they know obviously that I'm a member of Dynamo Fans for Change as well. But shout out to y'all. I mean, I'm glad that they appreciate the videos and that they actually enjoy it. So it just feels good for me knowing that there was a reason for doing all this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's only going to grow. Definitely, it's definitely going to. It's definitely going to grow. If things, we'll get into it. But anyway, so definitely appreciate each and every one of y'all. Make sure again, 7:15 or wherever you're at, at the 15 after the hour, had a video dropping. So make sure y'all are checking that out. We'll definitely try to slide into the Discord after this if you guys want to continue the conversation or any other conversation if you're in the Discord. If you want to become a member of the Discord, you go to patreon.com/saucesports and join in at the $5 tier or higher, and we'll send you a link. We're supposed to automatically do it now, but if not, we'll definitely send you a link and get you in there. And so definitely appreciate everybody who has been showing love and supporting. Aside from that, tomorrow, 6 o'clock on the regular Sauce stream, Be in the den tonight. I got like 3 things I want to talk about. I'll pick something here shortly. And if you want to get there, like I say, denshowlive.com will take you there. But aside from that, man, I appreciate y'all, each and every one of y'all, for being a part of this.
Dang, I lost my gym.
We gotta go take another stroll. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I need to go.
Oh man, I gotta reclaim what's mine.
Yeah. I jumped out in one early this morning, and then they beat me up kind of early. Usually I last a few hours.
You know what's funny? For a while, because I had it. I originally I had it for like 7 hours initially, and then after I was dethroned, I noticed there was like now 2 Pokemon rolling up on that gym, and I beat both of them. So I was like, can't be king like that, man. You gotta do better.
Yeah, that's what I say. You know, I've been noticing some characters. Like I said, I take Scotty for a walk in the morning, and so there's like a little Poke Gym thing around there, and every morning it's some new Pokemon. You know, and I forgot what I put over there. But I gotta go every morning. It's the ritual. Go over there, clear out the gym, and sit there for a little bit while Scotty shits all over everything. So it's a good tandem. But I appreciate all y'all. Shout out to all the fresh ingredients, man. Y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world, man. We appreciate y'all for being here. We appreciate y'all's support. Y'all take care of yourselves wherever you may be in the world. You stay safe, but most of all, y'all stay saucy. And I hope Heidi burnt whatever the fuck she's cooking, wherever the fuck she's at. And we're out.
Perfect.
All right.